It's time for Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore. A Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. Brought to you by Joe Lunghammer Chevrolet of Waterford. Plan your next vehicle purchase or get your credit rolling in the right direction with Regina today. And now, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore.
Good morning, good morning. You are listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and I'm your host, Regina Eileen Woodard, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, Regina, a.k.a. the Queen of Car Loans. And I'm sitting next to my favorite co-host, my only co-host that's sitting right next to me, Dr. Teresa Moore.
She's singing again, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. T. Happy Saturday. So glad to be on.
So, you know what I'm super excited about today because this is our second show where we are going 1 hour, and going 1 hour was something that God put in the air for us, right? He put it in the air because when we first got together, I had said for months, I need a co-host. I need somebody that can shine with me, can put the queen in her place, can say, you know what, nah, Regina, we can't go with that right now. Or nah, you didn't handle that right. Everybody can't handle me and deal with my, not issues, but just deal with certain things, right?
Listen, all I'm going to say is to God be the glory.
Oh, wow. Did you just say that?
I did say that because here's the thing is when God gives me everything that I need. So it's not at all hard to work alongside of you. It's actually an honor to sit across from you as we talk about topics that are for the public that they can really utilize. And I'm so excited. And I get to lift up the name of the Lord. So that's really exciting for me. So it's not a hindrance.
Well, you know what? A great thing about it is that we have history. Yeah. You have purchased cars from me. You have leased cars with me. You've been with me probably about maybe 15, 16 years.
Long time.
Okay, a long time. So we have built the history where it's like, you are, it's funny because Dr. T, she wants the royalty service. She wanted that from day one. Okay, this is what I need. This is when I want it. This is what time I'm going to be able to pick it up. And I'm not going to only spend this amount of time there. So I need you to get everything prepared. And I'm thinking to myself, really?
Listen.
This is when she was Teresa, okay? This is what she Dr. T now, and she still acts the same way. So it doesn't matter whether you have a doctorate in front of your name, whether you a reverend, whether you a minister, it doesn't matter. She acts the same way she did 15, 16 years ago on what she needed from me.
So listen, Regina.
Not what she needed and what she wanted.
Listen,
audience, listeners.
Listen, I have what I say that I have, right? It's neither in my mouth. So listen, before the foundation of the earth was even created, when I was thought about, I was Dr. T. I just had to catch up to it. So I was just enacting my part until the actual degree manifested. Okay? So it was all good.
Well, I love that you say that is because people don't understand when God put us on that earth, when God put us on this earth, is that you are who you are. And he already knows how great you're going to be or how you're going to be. It's just a matter of fact, are you going to step into it? Are you going to accept it?
That's
Amen?
Right. Come on, wait a minute. Hold on. Are you saying this? I need you to say that one more time. Are you going to accept the call?
Okay.
Come on.
When God say it again, when God put you on earth, it's like he already put it out there. Do you step into your calling? Do you manifest into where you're supposed to go? Yeah. That lane. I did a video and it was like, stay in your lane, right? Stay in your lane. But you got to know when to get over. You got to know when to go straight. You got to know when to turn. You got to know when to maneuver.
That's good.
And it's just like in life when certain situations happen. I remember when September 17th is the anniversary. My mom died in 16, so 17, 18, 19, 21, 23. That's 7 years. And honestly, to me, it just seemed like it's like yesterday. That's why I really had to count it on my fingers, right? Because September 17th is when my mom died. I remember going to work. Right? I remember going to work that day, and I remember having a good day at work. And the only thing I think about was my mama. my mama. Mm-hmm. So my mama was in the hospital when I was living in Macomb, in the hospital in Macomb. And I just remember, like, I gotta get to see that face. She wasn't talking, you know, but she knew who I was, right? Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't wait to get there. Mm-hmm. I remember I got off at 3:00. You know, I was like, dance. I'm going to see my mama. You know, I was just so happy, right? Oh, I'm getting a tear in my eye. But I remember when I got there, she was just looking at me.
Yeah.
And it seemed like my mom had just kind of just started passing then, but she was still there. Mm-hmm. Like she was waiting on me.
She probably was.
She was waiting on me, right? And then with her waiting on me, you know, so people came to see her, and I had this young lady, because they was trying to send mom home for saying we wanted to get ready to go home. She spent her, you know, trying to say it was her last days. I wasn't trying to accept that. And had a girl come to the hospital and to actually interview, right? Mm-hmm. And when she came to the interview to be one of the people that take care of my mom, because I had to add extra help. Mm-hmm. It was time for me to get 24-hour care, because I was the care at night, right, when my mom was sleeping, but I realized that I needed care while she was sleeping. Yeah. And this is what was going to happen, because the bed was supposed to get delivered that Monday, mm-hmm. and mom was coming home that Tuesday. Yeah. And I said, Sarah, I was just super excited about that. And they call it hospice, but I call it recovering, because just because they put you in hospital doesn't mean it's your last days, because you can always turn around, right?
God has the final say.
And God had the final say, but he got me prepared for that, right? I thought I was prepared. So what happened was I interviewed the lady. Lady got there about 6 o'clock. I was in the room with my mom. She came in, went out to go ahead and talk. And then I had someone else, a good friend of mine, come in, be in the room with my mom while I left out. She just happened to pop by, and went out and talked to a lady. And so I left out the room 10 or 15 minutes, came back. God took her to glory. Okay. And you know what? I'm starting, because I think about that God did me the awesome favor, or not favor. He took it up on my life to say, Regina, I didn't want you in the room. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't need you in the room.
You know, Regina, when you say that, God knows exactly what we need.
Talk to me, girl.
He knows exactly what we need. He knows what we can bear. And he knew that may have been too much for you to have her pass at home. So God said, let me help my daughter. And what I love about the Lord is he can see farther than what we could ever see. He knows our needs before we even know them, before our thoughts. And even though you would have did it time and time again, the Lord said, let me take care of you. Let me take care of you, child. And guess what? Your mom belonged to him. You know, he loaned her to you.
Yes.
But she belonged to him. So she went back to the Father. And so what I love about God is those that die in the Lord, they already they know what's coming. They know that they're going to spend eternity with him. So we don't have to worry where she is, because if she loved the Lord and accepted him as her personal savior, then she had a place. There was a place laid up just for her. And so with that being said, God knew farther than what you would ever know. And so he took his baby, he put his flower back in his garden. He put his flower back in his garden.
Talk to me.
And so that's why I love the Lord, because the Bible says that he knows what we need even before we ask, and even before the foundations of the world. When you were created, he knew you when you were in her womb. He knew you. He knows every hair that's on your head. And because of that, you can rest and say, Lord, I thank you. You can say thank you. We don't. Everybody wants to live, but nobody wants to die. But that's what we are going that way. But when those that die in Christ shall live again.
You know what? I think, I know that, did you know you was going to be ministering to me this morning?
I just know wherever the Lord is, I can be, because I carry him and he's housed in me. So if I need to open my mouth and declare, I'm going to do so. Every day.
I needed that, because, honestly, it is 7 years for me, and September 17th. Yeah. And, I'm going to Florida this weekend. And it wasn't planned to go before our anniversary. I got the call that they're doing something for my granddad's birthday, because he had a park named after him in February, and his birthday in September. So it's like, we're going to have something for them. And my auntie, Aunt Annette Dempsey, asked me to fly in, and so me and my cousin, the Reverend Fred Lee Gilbert, we're gonna be there. We're meeting up in Florida on Friday. I get in at 2, he get in at 7, and we're gonna celebrate my granddad Saturday.
And I hope you're celebrating your mom too.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I hope it's a dual celebration.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Yes, I am going to visit my mom's grave on Sunday.
Okay.
And I used last time I went to go visit my dad's gravesite, right? So this time it's gonna be dedicated to my mom, and I'm excited. I'm excited to go. I can't say me clean the gravesite. I'm gonna have help, but we're gonna clean it, put the flowers on it, and I'm gonna love on her for as long as I can in spirit.
You do what you need to do.
Whew.
You do what you need to do, but guess what?
What?
She live in your heart, so you carry
Every
her
day.
with you every day. And so here's the thing, you do the steps that you need to do. Oftentimes we tell others, let others tell us how we should grieve, how we should live, but allow yourself to feel. And so allow yourself to feel. Grief does not have a time limit.
Yes.
I don't care who you are.
Talk
you get
to me.
one mother. And so my mother has been gone 8 years. And so I don't care. It's like yesterday. And so when you love someone, you always love them, whether they're here or whether they're going on to glory. But here's the thing. You do whatever steps that you need to do. You need to do.
I you know what? This just I want to let people know that you got to grieve. You can't act like something just happened and you going back to work.
Yeah.
If you go back to work right after, you got to pick that time and know you got to break down. You got to, however you deal with your grief. It ain't got to be about crying. It could be about how you deal with grief, right?
Yeah, that's good, but just don't avoid grief. So what you don't want to do is avoid the emotions, avoid the feelings. Your feelings let your feelings be valid. Like, you lose someone, you hurt. There's hurt there. So don't run away from your grieving process. Allow yourself to feel, so then you can deal and then heal. So
say that again. I need to hear that again.
So allow yourself to feel, so then you can deal and then heal. So that's the 3-step process that I always use in therapy sessions. Allow yourself to feel. I can't tell you how to feel. That's not my job. But allow yourself to feel. I'm not going to tell you to take up residence in your feelings, because I don't want you to stay stuck in them, but I want you to allow yourself to feel. When you allow yourself to feel, you allow yourself to be human. Oftentimes we think that we're superhumans.
Superwoman or Superman.
We're superhumans. We can put capes on and fly around. We can do this and that, and nothing affects us. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Why do we do that though? Why do we feel that we can't feel, that we're being told how to feel about something?
Well, society tells us. Even if you think about the grieving process in itself, when somebody goes on to glory, when they die from transitions from this world over, the thing is, you're told how many days the body needs to stay out, how many days before the funeral, how many days you're supposed to do this. Everything leading up to the celebration is time limited. You got to get the obituary together. You got to get all those things together, right? And so you have to do all of this. But after the service, after the last piece of chicken is gone and the cake is served at the repast, you have to go back to what you trying to consider to be normal. But you have to understand that normal as you know it will no longer be. You have to find your new normal. When there is a loss, that loss is still important. So you got to find your new normal. Life as you know it will be different.
Oh, that's so good. You know what? When we come back, I want you to elaborate. How do you deal with the new normal?
Okay.
How do you deal with the new normal? Because that's like, whew. And I'm sniffling because yes, I'm over here crying because I'm lost of words right now. It's
it's okay to feel. You don't have to make excuses for shedding tears. Tears out the windows to the soul. Let your soul be free today.
All right, we'll be right back.
Regina, the Queen of Carlones here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed today. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Text or call me at 248-453-6095. That's 248-453-6095. Come ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Carlones at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Do you desire to know God on a deeper level? Do you need to see signs, miracles, and wonders in your life? Do you want to grow your faith so you can overcome adversity and have a breathtaking future? Yes? Then you must attend the Glory Realm Miracle Encounter happening in Tampa, Florida, October 20th through 23rd. It will be 4 epic days of refreshing, restoration, and rejoicing. Go to www.wellofworship.com for additional details and to grab your seat today.
Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate can make it a smooth, hassle-free experience. Our award-winning offices and the outstanding personal service offered by Brenda Davis and her professional sales associates guide you through the maze of infinite details surrounding the purchase or sale of your home, helping you become familiar with a new area, finding the right home for your family, arranging financing, and settling in a timely fashion is our priority. Assuring that your relocation is a pleasant experience is our ultimate goal. Brenda Davis, an associate broker, is a 21-year career licensed realtor, a member of the National Association of Realtors, and a board member of the North Oakland County Board of Realtors. Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you.
We're back, and you're listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. I'm your host, Regina, the Queen of Carlones, Regina Eileen Woodard. And who else am I sitting next to every week?
Happy Saturday, everybody. It's Dr. T. So glad to be on today.
So, Dr. T, before we left and went to commercial break to pay some bills, now that we're back, I want to talk about how to deal with the new norm. Ooh. Can you elaborate on that? Because I think y'all need to sit down on this one.
So how to deal with the new normal? First of all, recognizing that something has changed. Oftentimes, after grief, after we've experienced loss, like we just talked about, we wake up the next day and we think everything should be the same.
And it's not.
It is not. So, recognize that things have changed. And guess what? I talked about allowing yourself to feel, but allowing yourself time. Give yourself some time. We really want to rush stuff. We want to hurry up and get over pain. We want to put a Band-Aid on areas that need stitches. Let yourself have the time you need to heal.
I think a lot of people think that way and don't want to bring their guard down because people are more vulnerable. Help me out.
It's vulnerable.
Vulnerable when they're going through things. They're going through grief. And that's why people don't want to deal with it, but they don't know that they're rushing themselves to a heart attack or to a stroke, right?
Because stress kills, When you have all that pent-up emotion, when you don't allow yourself to feel, you cause more damage on your heart. You cause yourself to go through all these emotions inwardly instead of releasing them. But another thing is to focus on what's in your control. You can't control a person dying, but you can't control how you decide to live after they died. You can control that. You can control if you're going to spend your days in a room with the door closed and the blinds shut, or you can choose to live. We have to understand that death is very much a part of life. So you can choose to live. And what better way to honor the person who has gone on than to live and live out the legacy of them?
So, I guess my biggest moment was the day after, and when I say the day after, when last piece of chicken, past piece of food, it's time to go home, and it was I buried my mom in Florida, You know, Mom came to Michigan in 1968, I think 67, 68, right? Or it could have been 66. So in the middle 60s, right? And, you know, both my parents, my dad wanted to be buried in Florida. My mom wanted to be buried there. And it was me the next day going home. Knowing that I had to get on that plane. Knowing that I had to go home and it was just me. Her little girl. You know, me and my two brothers. And that was what that was what was so hard for me.
Well, yeah, because you were leaving a piece of you. Well, the
Yes,
piece that
I
you
was.
knew in Florida. And so
Lord,
here's
I
the
was.
thing. You had something to look forward to when she was here in Michigan. You could look forward to going and see her face. You can look forward to going to the hospital. But then after she's gone, now what? So you had to decide, what am I going to do now? And that's one of the difficult things that people have to think about and even embrace, that life is different now. So what do? You could do a list of things, but first of all, you know, I would surround myself with people who love me. With people who love me, because there's going to be a wide range of emotions that comes along with grief. And so that could be people who love you, and it also could be seeking out a therapist.
Yes.
You know,
that's it.
That's
it right there.
Yeah.
A therapist or a confidant or somebody you trust. Because when I got back home, the people that really love me, that are in my circle to this day, was around me. More, and I didn't want them around me, but they were there. They were there for me.
Yeah. And also educating yourself on the stages of grief. Because when you think about with grief, you have times where you get angry. You got times when you want to bargain. You got times that, you know, that you're upset and you don't know which way to go. All types of emotions come with grief. But when you surround yourself with others who will love you through that grief, and even seek out a therapist who can talk you through the grief and give you some steps, some tools to help you with day-to-day functioning, you'll find yourself even feeling better. Oftentimes I see people want to avoid hurting.
But why do you think people want to avoid hurting?
Because it's uncomfortable. We like to be comfortable.
That's the thing. You know, we all want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, we all, just like I hate to turn grief into buying a car, but when you come to buy a car, you know, you have issues. You know, I'm counseling, I'm talking. When people thinking about buying a car, they're telling me their issues, right? Or they're telling me what they want. Then I have to be the professional mind changer.
Well, let me say this though, Regina. When people sit in front of you, they're being vulnerable with you. You get to see their money. You get to see where they work at. You get to see their most intimate details.
Yes,
so
about their
now
business.
they become a part of your family, if you will, because now you know
Queen of
all of this
Carlone's
about
family.
me. And a lot of people that come sit in your chair, they come with other baggage. They come with you know, husbands and children and parents, and they have all these different things, work, and they have all of these other things that they're responsible for, and they come in and sit in your chair. So sometimes you do have to be that therapist. Sometimes you do have to be the mouthpiece.
Well, but you know what? The thing about it, though, is people have to understand we all hurt. We're all human. We all pull our pants on the same way. We all go to the bathroom the same way.
Well, sort of.
We all, right? Okay, maybe somebody stand, maybe the guy stand, and then the women sit, right? Whatever. It doesn't matter how you go to the bathroom. Everybody goes to the bathroom because they got to get rid of their waste, right? We got to eat. We got to have energy. Then we got to get rid of it, right? So we all do the same thing. And the thing about it, though, is what people don't realize. We all have issues. You know, I always tell people, you come in a dealership, you see us sitting there, you may think we cute, we may think this, we may think that, and you think everything is all good, but that's not always true.
That is real.
That is always not true. So some of the issues that you may have, maybe the same issues I may have, or maybe my coworker has. So we are going to go through that grief or go through something that we're going to go through. But what you have to realize, how do you deal with it?
Well, that's good, because here's the thing. We look at people with our eyes, so right? We look at each other and we determine by what we see how that person is doing. When the reality of it is God makes our frame look good. He makes us look good. And so people may think we have it all together because of how God makes us look. But the reality of it is that we all deal with issues. We all do. But like you said, it's how we deal with them. For me, prayer is one of my biggest things that I do. I pray, and then I surround myself with like-minded individuals who can also speak a word into me. And also, I'm a worshiper. So there's some things that I do that's, that gets me through day-to-day circumstances, and I may not look like what I'm going through, but I'm still going through something. So again, that goes back to, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it?
So the thing is, when you're going through something, you want it. Some people, they pretend. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a therapist, when you're going through something, you have your way of dealing with what you're going through, right? A lot of people don't know how to deal with that. Mm-hmm. And so, what advice would you give to someone that really don't know how to deal with the healing? Or I know we've been talking about dealing with the new norm, right? Yeah. But I know there's some folks listening right now mm-hmm. who's going through what I went through, or is going through right now what I went through, or it's gonna happen to you. Yeah. It's gonna happen. Yeah. If it ain't your mom, your father, it's gonna be somebody you love, you're confident, and it's like, what's your advice? Okay, so they should seek a therapist
or
right?
confident, right? But take the mask off. Stop pretending.
That's
it. You don't have to pretend anymore. Guess what? This is your life. You get this life to live. So why not live the most healthiest way that you can? Seek out a therapist. Get you some accountability partners. Yes. And in those believers, the word, begin to command your day. Begin to speak over yourself. Get the help that you need and stop pretending. Stop acting like you're Superwoman or Superman, and realize that there's only one who's great, and that's Christ. Stop trying to be Christ and be his child, and ask for help.
And we're going to leave you on that note, because we're going to take a break and pay some bills again, but we're going to change our direction, and we're going to come back and talk about how going the extra mile is important. Yeah. And we'll be right back.
Regina, the Queen of Carlones here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed today. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Text or call me at 248-453-6095. That's 248-453-6095. Come ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Carlones at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Do you desire to know God on a deeper level? Do you need to see signs, miracles, and wonders in your life? Do you want to grow your faith so you can overcome adversity and have a breathtaking future? Yes? Then you must attend the Glory Realm Miracle Encounter happening in Tampa, Florida, October 20th through 23rd. It will be 4 epic days of refreshing, restoration, and rejoicing. Go to www.wellofworship.com for additional details and to grab your seat today.
Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate can make it a smooth, hassle-free experience. Our award-winning offices and the outstanding personal service offered by Brenda Davis and her professional sales associates guide you through the maze of infinite details surrounding the purchase or sale of your home, helping you become familiar with a new area, finding the right home for your family, arranging financing, and settling in a timely fashion is our priority. Assuring that your relocation is a pleasant experience is our ultimate goal. Brenda Davis, an associate broker, is a 21-year career licensed realtor, a member of the National Association of Realtors, and a board member of the North Oakland County Board of Realtors. Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you.
We are back, and you are still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. And so, Dr. T, yes. We said we were going to switch roles a little bit, not switch roles, but just switch the direction and talk about how going the extra mile is important. Mm-hmm. And when we think about how going the extra mile is important, I think about, what makes me the queen. Mm-hmm. You buy a car from a person. Mm-hmm. What do you do extra for that person, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I do when you come to buy a car from me, or whether you buy a car from me, we can see your credit report, right? And when we see your credit report, we know which credit is, right? Which is no big deal. But whether you buy a car from me or not, I'm giving you advice. One of the things what I'm doing with a lot of my customers is, I am actually helping them apply for a credit card or get a secure card with this company that we, financial literacy. That's what I do. You need to get your credit together. I'm there. Or Cathy's there, right? But I give you advice because especially if you don't have a credit card, I'm giving you advice. Okay, I got this link. This is what you need to fill out. This application. Matter of fact, I'll do it for you. Just sit there 5 minutes. I'll do it for you. And if you don't qualify for the credit card, we're going to switch you on over and get you a secure card. Because people are more vulnerable when they're spending their money buying a car versus trying to get things right at that time when they're sitting in my seat.
That's good. That's good. So when I think about that, going the extra mile, as a therapist, there are some things that we should do. Not all therapists do this, but there's some things that we should do. Like number one, being prepared. So one of the things that I do, I make sure that I'm rested, that I'm attentive to the client. And before anyone comes into my room, I set the atmosphere. And I do that, Regina, by, praying in the room, making sure the lighting is right, making sure that the seating is together. And so that when a client comes in, that they can feel that there's a change or a shift in the atmosphere. It's a welcoming atmosphere. So that's kind of some of the things that I do to get started in the day. And outside of that, if it's a new client, I make sure that I read their information that they submitted. I make sure that I pay attention if they have children, if they're married, pay attention to traumas, things that really make a difference in the session so I can know about how to go, how the session, how to start it, because the client really selects the direction that therapy goes in. So that's just some of the things that I do to get ready for the day.
Well, going the extra mile with me is when you call me. I mean, it's therapy. When people talk to me and tell me their problems, I with my schedule, I look to allocate that half hour, that 45 minutes with that customer. I'm gonna take an application if you don't do one online, and we're gonna talk about what your needs and your wants are when you come into the dealership, right?
That's good.
And a lot of times I can give some of the things what you want. That you need, but I can't give you some of the things that you want. So not getting some of the things that you want, that's when I put you on a plan to help you get your credit together. Because we all got to know that we got to start somewhere.
That's true.
And where do we start? I don't care who it is.
Yeah, that's good.
Everybody has their number called when it came to not paying a bill because their job situation had changed. And they had to go another direction. And how do you go that another direction?
That's good.
After you fell on your face. I fell on my face plenty of times. But what do? How do I get up?
That's good.
Right? So another thing is going the extra mile with me is when you buy at least a car from me, I'm going the extra mile. You're getting a gift from me.
Oh, that's good.
You're getting a gift from me. For the last year, a partnership with Jack's Car Wash to actually give a Jack's Car Wash free for a customer that they normally got 30 to 60 days later because we had to put everything together. But now I'm partnership with businesses to go the extra mile. Because businesses, small business owners are going to do what? We're going to work that relationship. A big corporation, Jacks don't care about Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, just so you know.
So, I like how you said that because, first of all, going the extra mile is really, looking to see what a client can benefit from. So you're talking about partnering with those in the community to possibly get the client some of the things that they can utilize more often than maybe car washes. And I also like the fact that you have a website. So you go the extra mile by making sure that your website is up to date and that people can go and put the application in at any time of the day. So you give them accessibility to you. So I really like that. And so when I think about going the extra mile, I talked about, setting the atmosphere. But another thing that I do is try to build a rapport, build trust with the client when they first come in. Initially, when somebody comes into a clinic to see a therapist, they're not going to trust them in the beginning. But I'm very transparent and I'm open. Now, I don't go in and share all my details, my personal information, but I do let my clients see that I'm a real person, that I have feelings, and that I understand what they're going through. So I actually am attentive in the session. So,
well, you know what? The worst thing you can do is go to a therapy session or go visit anybody or talk to someone as your confidant, and they're not listening or they're not paying attention.
That's true.
Or they're not focused.
That's
because being focused is going the extra mile. You know, it's about, you know, within that 5 minutes whether you connect with that person or whether you connect with that therapist or you connect with that person you're buying a car from. And if you are not connecting, you need to walk away.
Wow. So you saying something huge, because you know, therapists, if the therapist and the client, they don't have a connection, then sometimes you may have to, sever the relationship. But prior to doing that, you really want to open your mouth and have a hard conversation. Sometimes you have to have those conversations. And sometimes you just have to say, you know what, is this really accurate how I'm feeling? Or am I being triggered by what the therapist is saying? Is this causing me to be uncomfortable, and I'd rather just not connect with the therapist? I'd rather just leave, stop the sessions. So you really need to just have conversations if there's a disconnect somewhere.
Well, I got to say it again. This is your money. I don't care if your insurance is paying for your therapy session. And definitely if you're going to buy a car. You spending your money. It doesn't matter what your interest rate is and how your credit is. If you're not getting the type of service and connection out there, walk away. Because just so you know, I got to put this out there. If I'm not connecting with that customer, I say, we're not connecting. Maybe you need to buy a car from somewhere else. Because when somebody talks to me, I roll out the red carpet. I mean, the reason I roll out the red carpet with my listening, with being there for you, that's why I say I'm blessed now. People come to me or call me because of my advertisement, right? Radio, TV, referral. But I have built those relationships where people trust me, right?
That's good.
So if we're not connecting, and I'm not might not be the right one. I might not be that right sales girl because I treat everybody the same. I don't care if you got a 400 to a 600 credit score. Everybody's going to get treated the same. Just because you make more money doesn't mean anything to me. Buying a car is buying a car.
That's right.
It does not matter. And that's what you have to understand. Somebody come in, I got 750 credit score. I don't need this. Okay, well, you still going to get that attention from me, right? That's why I block my appointments, okay? And I give a person a 15-minute window. I treat my appointments like the doctor's office, like therapists, right? Okay, you're supposed to be here, then you give me let me know you're not coming. Don't just ignore this text, because if you in my CRM, I'm not going to text you. My system going to automatically give you a reminder during the day.
Yeah.
You have an appointment with Regina, the Queen of Carlones, coming up in 3 hours. Then you have an appointment with Regina, Queen of Carlones, in 2 hours, and then we're going to be done. And then we want you to check in on your phone when you get there. So that's important.
So I like that. I like how, you do the follow-up, but I want to go back to, like you said, when a person's insurance is paying, or if the person is paying out of pocket, they have the right to sever ties with the therapist at any time that they want. So I brought up the fact that sometimes we get afraid, when triggers are being, a therapist may hit on a trigger. So that's why I talked about having that conversation. But certainly a therapist who's attentive knows if there's not a connection, and that person will give additional resources. That person will refer people out. Yes. And that person will have that conversation. So just like you said, they have the right, but a good therapist wants to see the person healthy and whole. So they will give a resource, even if it's not with them. They want that person to be serviced.
I'm glad you said that, because in a very nice way, the therapist will refer you to someone else if they're not connecting. They don't want to cause more harm than you already have. And I love that you said that. Thank you very much.
That's our number one thing, cause no harm.
Cause no harm. I like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be right back. Joining us on our next segment is Cathy Washington, our financial coach. And her topic is, when to ask for a credit limit or just about a credit limit. I mean, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
That's huge. So I'm excited to hear about the information that she shares because you have not because you ask not. Say it again.
You have not because you ask not. And when you ask amiss.
Woo! Yeah. We'll be right back with Cathy Washington, our financial coach.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed today. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Text or call me at 248-453-6095. That's 248-453-6095. Come ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Do you desire to know God on a deeper level? Do you need to see signs, miracles, and wonders in your life? Do you want to grow your faith so you can overcome adversity and have a breathtaking future? Yes? Then you must attend the Glory Realm Miracle Encounter happening in Tampa, Florida, October 20th through 23rd. It will be 4 epic days of refreshing, restoration, and rejoicing. Go to www.wellofworship.com for additional details and to grab your seat today.
Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate can make it a smooth, hassle-free experience. Our award-winning offices and the outstanding personal service offered by Brenda Davis and her professional sales associates guide you through the maze of infinite details surrounding the purchase or sale of your home, helping you become familiar with a new area, finding the right home for your family, arranging financing, and settling in a timely fashion is our priority. Assuring that your relocation is a pleasant experience is our ultimate goal. Brenda Davis, an associate broker, is a 21-year career licensed realtor, a member of the National Association of Realtors, and a board member of the North Oakland County Board of Realtors. Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you.
You are still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. I'm your host, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Regina Eileen Woodard, a.k.a. Queen of Car Loans.
Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. T.
And also we have on the line is our financial coach, Cathy Washington, all the way out of Atlanta, Georgia. Today she's going to be talking about when to ask for a credit limit. And I hope that you got your pen and paper ready because we're going to give you a few nuggets this morning. Not much because, we can't give you the whole book because we need you to reach out to her. How do they reach out to you, Miss Cathy?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Regina, the Queen of Car Loan, and Dr. T. So glad to be with you guys this morning. Listen, if you want to reach out to me, you can. The number is 1-800-988-9184. 1-800-988-9184.
And so we're going to go ahead and get into our segment this morning with you. What's on your agenda this morning? I already told people before the break and when we came back. So let's go ahead and segue right on in.
Yes. Let's talk about when to ask for a credit line limit increase. This day and time, there's a lot of opportunities to say, okay, when do I do that? And I just want to give people some nuggets today, Regina, that, to tell them exactly when they should. First thing is when your credit is in good standing. What is good standing? That's having a score between 670 to 739. And of course, when you're 740 and higher, you can ask for whatever you want to ask and get what you want for the most part. So that is definitely one of the times that you want to make sure that you ask for, a credit limit increase. On the contrary, now if the credit is below 580, I probably wouldn't ask for an increase, right? That's just not when you want to ask. You want to make sure you're at least a 670 or higher. I would absolutely say that if you are less than a 580, your score is 580 or less, I probably wouldn't ask for a credit limit increase. Not a good time to do that. So just focus on when you're credit is over 670 or higher to ask for a credit limit increase. That's point number one.
I love that point number one is because you got to be ready. You got to know where you are before you ask for a credit increase. Then I want to say one thing. What you want to do is when you call and ask for a credit line increase, won't you just ask whether it's a soft pull or a hard pull? Is that important?
Absolutely, that's critically important. I know that I have some creditors who basically they do a soft pull when it comes down to determining whether or not you are going to get a credit limit increase. If you're going to take that, and sometimes I would also say that if it's an automatic, credit limit increase, then most of the time that is a soft pull. But you want to be mindful of whether or not it is a hard or a soft. And why is that important? If it's a hard pull, typically that means that you're going to pretty much take a little bit of a hit to your credit score if it is a hard pull. So you want to be mindful of that, especially if you're asking for multiple different creditors to provide you with a limit increase.
So, Cathy, let me ask you this question. If you have multiple credit cards, should you be asking for increases on each credit card, or should you just determine one that you want to get the increase on?
Yeah, I would encourage you to be mindful of that. I mean, if you've got one or two that you want to ask for a limit increase on, you just need to, determine which one you really want to get an increase on. You don't want to ask for all of them necessarily. You just want to be mindful of that. So I would definitely encourage you to, and then think about it. Because, we said 10% of your credit score calculation is based on inquiries. So if I'm going to ask for an increase and it's a hard pull, then I'm probably not going to ask for more than one or two.
But credit card companies do have the right to just increase your credit limit, right? Because I had an increase on my Apple, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I didn't even ask for it. I was like, oh, thank you.
Thank you. One way that you can get them to kind of pay attention, if you will, is, if you get a raise, go ahead and update your income with that creditor, and then sometimes they will automatically give you a credit limit increase.
That's good. That's good information. Cathy, I heard you saying soft pull and hard pull, and I picked up, you said if it's a soft pull, that means that you automatically get credit increases, but if it's a hard pull, that means you may take a hit to your credit score. So I wanted just to say that to the listeners who may want to know what a soft and a hard pull is. That's good information.
Okay. Yeah, a soft pull, just for clarity, a soft pull just means that they're just looking at your report, and your credit report may not necessarily be taking a hit. But if it's a hard pull, then it's going to show up as an inquiry on your report. Oh, okay. So there's definitely a difference. If you're talking to a creditor and you say, hey, am I getting a hard pull? Will this be a hard pull or will this be a soft pull? Then you definitely want to know the difference. If it's a hard pull, then you know that you could potentially have an impact to your credit score. If it's a soft pull, then more than likely it's just checking it out, and you may not take a hit.
Oh, that's good information. So, Cathy, is that something that, individuals should automatically do, periodically ask for a credit line increase?
It just depends on your situation and if your spending habits change. Oh. If you're in a situation where, your spending habit has changed, especially coming out of this pandemic, a lot of people were asking for increases because their spending habit changed a little bit. So you just want to be mindful. If you have a major event such as a marriage or you buying a house or starting a family and your spending habits, drastically change, you may want to ask for a credit line limit increase.
That's good information. Okay, thank you.
I will also tell our listeners that, listen, if you maxed out your credit card, probably not a good idea to ask for a credit line limit increase.
That's good.
Because you've already kind of, bypassed one of the rules of, that we watch out for, right? And that's that credit card utilization.
That's good. Cathy, I have one more question. I know you got some more points, but what about closing accounts? Do you advise, or, if someone says, you know what, I got 4 credit cards, I want to get 3, do you advise a closure of an account?
Well, what I would say is you need to take a look at how long you've had those accounts open, right? Because one of the factors is your the age of your credit is considered as your credit is calculated, credit score is calculated. So you just want to keep in mind, what does that look like? And if, there's some simulation programs out there to say, hey, if I close this card, what would that do to my score? You want to just be very careful, because as long as you understand the factors and you understand the impact, it could have minimal to no impact, or it could be your oldest credit card that has, you've had it for 10 years, and if you close it, now it's going to drop your age down to maybe 5 years, because that's the next oldest, and that could impact your score. So really just, Dr. C, it really just depends on a person's individual situation. You want to be able to utilize some of the tools that are out there to simulate what what's going to happen if you take XYZ position.
That's good.
Does that make sense?
It does. So, Cathy, so now for the listeners that are on today, they've been hearing what you said. What is some tips that you would give them, before they even ask for an increase? I know you said, to think about if you get an increase on a job, a salary increase, that will be a good time. But what tips would you give them before even asking about an increase?
That's a great question. You want to think about your annual income. You want to think about, hey, listen, if I get a raise on my job, then that's probably a pretty good time you could ask for an increase. If your employment status change, meaning you get another job and you're now making more money, that's probably a good time you could ask as well. Perhaps in some cases, this really depends on, each person's individual situation, but I would just call out your income, your employment status, and then, maybe you consider your, monthly rent or mortgage payments as well.
Cathy, so say, we just had all of this going on in our economy with the pandemic and everything. Say I did ask for a credit increase and now my job status changed. How can I stay in good standing with the companies and still keep my credit card if my income changed?
I think the main thing to keep in mind is making sure that you look at your payment history, making sure you continue to pay on time, even if your status change. Just keep paying the minimum payment until you are, reestablish whatever it is that has happened in your situation.
Yes.
Don't incur additional debt. Try to keep that debt down very low.
I love that. That was a great question, because I think when people get into certain situations, one of the things that they do is they stop paying their credit card bills. They figure, okay, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. No, you should pay that credit card bill. Even if you had to cut back on something else, because you're going to need that credit later. Maybe your income changed, things change, we understand, but you are going to need it later. So when you cut back, just be careful what you cut back on. I mean, that's very key. Be careful what you cut back on. Right. Cathy, what's one word, as we wrap up your session, what's one thing that you can give someone before you tell us, how they can reach you again? What's one thing you would tell someone about, tell us the services that you offer. Let's do that. Tell us the services that you offer and how they reach you.
Absolutely. I'm always talking about being an advocate. You got to get in control of your own situation. Don't just allow life to happen to you. Get control. You can, and you can be. You can do that today. You can contact me at 1-800-988-9184. If you need to get control of your credit, we can help you. If you need to get control of your debt, we can help you with that. We can help you also from a budgeting perspective. We can also help you if you just simply said, hey, Cathy, I want to get my will and my trust together. I need to get my life in order, because, we're not going to live forever. We want to make sure that we have our business right so that we can leave a love letter for our families, should something happen. So those are some of the things that I would just encourage our listeners out there, that we have services that can help you get your financial house in order. And don't feel bad that, hey, it's been out of order. It's just being decisive and taking action to say, I'm going to do something different. Before we wrap up 2022, what am I going to do as we go into this last quarter of the year? What am I going to do? We have now, less than 4 months before we're done with 2022. So what am I going to do to make sure I take some intentional action to get myself in a better financial position as I go into 2023? I hope that's helpful.
Yes, it did help. Well, you heard it right here. What are you going to do different to get your financial life in order for 2022? We are on the second half of the year. What are you going to do different? You're going to reach out to our financial coach, Cathy Washington. What's your telephone number one more time?
Yes, it's 1-800-988-9184. 1-800-988-9184.
Well, you heard it right here.
Talking to you guys.
Thank you. You heard it right here. It's our financial coach, Cathy Washington, all the way out of Atlanta, Georgia. Doesn't matter what state you're in. Doesn't matter what city you're in. Same thing. Doesn't matter. She can help you. So thank you for joining us today, Miss Cathy Washington out of Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be right back.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed today. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Text or call me at 248-453-6095. That's 248-453-6095. Come ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Do you desire to know God on a deeper level? Do you need to see signs, miracles, and wonders in your life? Do you want to grow your faith so you can overcome adversity and have a breathtaking future? Yes? Then you must attend the Glory Realm Miracle Encounter happening in Tampa, Florida, October 20th through 23rd. It will be 4 epic days of refreshing, restoration, and rejoicing. Go to www.wellofworship.com for additional details and to grab your seat today.
Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate can make it a smooth, hassle-free experience. Our award-winning offices and the outstanding personal service offered by Brenda Davis and her professional sales associates guide you through the maze of infinite details surrounding the purchase or sale of your home, helping you become familiar with a new area, finding the right home for your family, arranging financing, and settling in a timely fashion is our priority. Assuring that your relocation is a pleasant experience is our ultimate goal. Brenda Davis, an associate broker, is a 21-year career licensed realtor, a member of the National Association of Realtors, and a board member of the North Oakland County Board of Realtors. Call Brenda Davis now at 248-909-9711 and get started on your new home purchase or sale. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you.
We are back, and you're listening to Be in the Driver's Seat like always. I'm your host, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, Regina Eileen Woodard, Regina, a.k.a. the Queen of Car Loans. And we're on our final segment, Dr. T.
Yes, it's Dr. T, everybody. I'm so excited. This is the ending part of our second segment of being on for an hour, and we're super excited. So listen, why have you on? If you all are looking for an attorney, Marilyn Denise Walker, she is an advocate attorney. She has 25 years of experience providing solid legal advice and strategies during difficult times to families and individuals. So if you are in need of legal advice or an attorney, 248-332-2227 is her number. 248-332-2227. Marilyn Denise Walker, advocate attorney. So you ready, Queen?
What are we ready for?
So we're excited. We're ready. First of all, we're ready to. So she's laughing, guys. So we're ready to drive people to our Be in the Driver's Seat page. So if you're listening today, we're asking you to please go to www.beinthedriverseat.com and register to win a free iPad. This is the month. We're giving away the free iPad this month, and we want to give it to you. So please tag somebody, call somebody, tell them to go to beinthedriverseat.com and register to win that free iPad. And if you're interested in advertising with us, you can also go to our email at beinthedriverseat@gmail.com and leave us an email.
And you know what? We'll see you where you'll listen at the same time next week, same place. Yeah. And also, if you miss us on Saturday morning, from 8:30 to 9:30, you can go to our page, Be in the Driver's Seat with an S, Drivers with an S. And know what? Listen to our current episode and our past episodes. All right. Have a good week.
Have a good week.
You've been listening to Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore.
Brought to you by Joe Longhammer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Be in the Driver's Seat, a Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. From Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore, thank you for listening.